Hello, welcome in. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe, leave us a 5-star, become a diehard at gophnx.com. Got a brand new Corbin Carroll t-shirt everybody needs to go grab. We're going to grab your attention right now. It's Johnny Venerable, it's Bo Brock, it's Brian Baldy Baldinger here on an NFL Tuesday. And Baldy, so much to get to as it relates to the return of K1, Kyler Murray. This show has kind of been branded like Trey McBride sweepstakes every week now. So, just your initial takeaway. Cardinals win their second game of the season. What are your initial thoughts?
And snapped a 6-game losing streak and beat a team that needed to win also. Look, anybody that thought that Kyler Murray was going to have to learn how to ride a bike again or get the rust off or all those kind of things after a long absence, and especially an absence due to, a torn ACL, and would he have the speed? Would he see? I thought he was terrific. I didn't see any rust. I saw a guy that was in charge, that made a lot of great throws, including some throws on the final drive to go win the game. The elusiveness, we saw it, on a couple different plays. Like, it looked like Kyler Murray. And I don't know when he got all the way back, but he looks like he's all the way back. Like, I can't imagine him, like everybody, wants touchdown passes and all this, but from what we have watched Kyler Murray the first 4 years to see what we just saw, like, you didn't see much of a drop-off.
Yeah, it really felt like Jonathan Gannon, Monty Austinford, I'm sure, had his hand in this. Drew Petzing, their offensive play caller, Izzy Wolfwork, their quarterback coach, all wanted him to get back and hit the ground running, not just come back and then reacclimate. Yeah. But what did you see as far as Kyler Murray maybe checking off some boxes as far as some of the questions surrounding the quarterback?
Well, like, he's thrown to some guys like Michael Wilson that, he's never played with before. He's a rookie, made a big throw across the field to hit him. But I just thought his timing with Trey McBride, obviously he had the big game. He made all the big money catches, but just getting that kind of game day timing is hard to do out there at practice. And I thought the timing between those two, especially on the big one down the field to go win the game, I thought it was exceptional. I know it looked like it was underthrown, but sometimes you put that throw like that when the safety's got his back to you and he can't see the ball and the receiver can react to the ball. So I thought, outside of the one interception where it really looked like, Trey kind of kept running, and I thought Kyler really thought he was going to sit down between the two linebackers. I thought that was the only play that I could find where it didn't look like it was good timing between them. But, you saw Josh Allen on Monday night fumble a snap with the running back. Like, you didn't see that kind of stuff that can happen when you haven't played, in a long time.
Were you surprised at all, Baldy, that he didn't have more time under center? I think I saw like 18 to 25% of the game he was under center, some play action. I think that's going to increase. Joshua Dobbs, Clayton Tune played under center majority of their time. Obviously, Colt McCoy during training camp. Could it be just a scenario in which, like, we're going to just ease into this a little bit because he's so used to playing under shotgun? Let's not force something right now when he's really only had about 3 to 4 weeks of practice.
We have to wait and see on that. I always thought that he was more comfortable in shotgun. Some of it is because of his size. It's just easier to see the field when you're back there 5 yards waiting on the ball and just seeing versus being under center and kind of just having things, whether it's guys standing up or whatever it might be, things are just a little occluded. So we'll have to wait and see. Josh Dobbs is bigger, Clayton Tune. We have to wait and see if they get him under center. I like my quarterbacks to be under center for play action passes and to keep the defense guessing. So it's something that we can chart and kind of figure out as he gets more and more time in this offense.
Turned a 13-yard scramble. It looked like it was near sack. It was about a 70-yard play after it was all said and done, but 13 in the box score. Just how many quarterbacks in this league can actually make that play?
And it's 3rd and 10. Yeah. And you need the first down. So, and the clock is ticking. And, this is your final possession. So I thought it was, just a few people probably make that type of a spin in the pocket, elude all the rush. And some really good players on that side of the ball to go get 13 yards like that, knowing where the sticks are, just having a feel for it. Not many guys probably attempt it. But certainly that's what Kyler's known for, and that's what he enjoys doing.
I thought his game transcended the box score, Baldy. I think you feel the same way. What does that do for the confidence from his head coach that, 6-game skid, 1 game, and now he comes back and they're 1-0 with this kid? I mean, I think I would imagine it gives them immense confidence that not only they can finish the year strong, but then he's hopefully their quarterback beyond this year.
Well, the big thing to me was it looked like he was having fun. It looked like he was enjoying. I know the record is the record, but it looked like he was having fun playing. And I thought the team around him played a lot better because of his his joy that he had. And that can transcend. So, nobody likes losing. That stinks for everybody. But, they had backup left guard in there, backup left tackle. I mean, they had different guys in there. I mean, you kind of, and they ran the ball good. It was good to get James Conner back in the game. The play that just killed me, though, honestly, he's been running read option plays since he was in Allen High School and probably before that. Like, he ran that read option for a touchdown. Like, the Falcons look like they'd never seen that before.
Right.
By the way, they run the same play with Bijan and Desmond Ridder. Like, they acted like they'd never seen read option before.
Yeah.
Like, they had no answer for that.
I'd asked Kyler about that play in the press conference, and he said he actually hadn't seen a read like that for 2 years, which I was surprised to hear from him. But, before leading up to the week, I had heard from Colt McCoy when he was still with this organization that he anticipated maybe one of the toughest things for Kyler to adjust to is the footwork in Drew Petzing's offense. And I asked Izzy Wolfork about this, their quarterback coach, last week. And he said the difference between what they do and what's kind of more traditional, what Kyler's been doing, is they do left foot up where it's more right foot up. Can you explain what that means and the challenges that maybe creates?
There's some systems where the left foot is back when you're in shotgun, or it's back when you're under center. And it's to push off. It's to start your count, whether it's 3-step, 5-step. And there's some people that are married to it and they're sticklers about it. I watched some. I was in Baltimore this weekend, and I was talking to one of their offensive coaches, and I'm like, does anybody coach Lamar and his fundamentals? Because, he could just do things that nobody else can do. And sometimes I feel like Kyler's a better natural thrower, I think, than Lamar. I think he just playing baseball, he's just naturally knows how to throw a ball, any kind of ball. So his footwork is a little more cleaned up. But when you're that athletic, and your arm is that good, sometimes it doesn't have to be perfect. And the footwork doesn't have to be perfect like it does for a lot of guys. Weight transfer, weight back. For a guy like Kurt Warner, it had to be perfect for him. And he's a stickler on that. And I don't, and that's how he kind of looks at these quarterbacks. But some of these guys are just so athletic. They're just so used to making these throws. Mahomes, off balance, off platform, and the ball it still goes where they want it to go. And so some of these guys, you just have to kind of live with that a little bit.
Did the Cardinals show their hand that they're not going to be trying any tush pushes with K1 for the rest of the year? I mean, I don't love K1 under center doing the tush push, so I agree with that. But I also don't love Clayton Tune cold coming off the bench, almost fumbling the ball into the end zone. I would almost think you might be better off, could James Conner take a direct snap under center? He's at least gotten carries in the game. Do you feel like they're just of the mindset, we love you, Kyler, it's not a beneficial play. You're not Jalen Hurts. You're not Josh Allen.
And those guys aren't coming off a torn ACL.
Yeah.
So, you got a lot of people diving on you, diving over the top. It's a play right now that's not policed very well. Mm-hmm. It's not officiated very well. Yeah. And so it's inviting a lot of crazy, guys they don't want targeting to begin with. They don't want guys leaping to make tackles and leading with their head. And that's kind of what it's inviting. And so I think this offseason, that play is going to get cleaned up a lot because I don't know if anybody, I'm not charting this stuff, who gets hurt, who doesn't get hurt. I know the Giants tried it and they lost their center for a good chunk of the season. Yeah. So, but that's, he's just buried under a pile. Everybody's trying to figure out short yards and goal line. Everybody, Buffalo last night had 4th and 1. They threw it and it ended up being a disaster. It turns into a turnover at midfield. And then they got Josh Allen. Right. To me, it's easy. Just put it in Josh's hands, let him figure it out. But everybody's trying to figure this out because if you can't gain a yard in this league, the Cowboys can't figure it out down the goal line 2 weeks in a row. Because if you just run a inside zone out of a shotgun, like you can stop that play. That play can be stopped. I don't care how good you are up front. You could just hit every single gap full speed. You can stop that play. You can't get the linebackers blocked. So everybody's trying to figure it out. That was the Cardinals version last week. I saw Cleveland run Harrison Bryant, a tight end, under center, and quarterback sneaking. And then they did a version of that. And the second time they had it, and it kind of backfired. So honestly, everybody's scratching their heads during the week. How are we going to do this?
Yeah, I think I've even seen Cole Kmet run it at some point for the Bears. It's really fascinating to see the different versions throughout the league. You know, it was on display, full display last week, you know, the return of complimentary football here in the desert. When the defense in the second half, they came out of the locker room after not being able to really get the Falcons offense off the field. There were a lot of long, drawn-out drives that ate clock and kept Kyler Murray and that offense on the sideline. But then Nick Rawls was able to dial up some pressure, and we saw the emergence of somebody we've been waiting for, Baldy, in second-round pick B.J. Ojulari. What have you seen from the LSU product?
Well, you see great movement, a good takeoff. We knew that, though. We knew that coming out of the draft. But then we saw production. And really, you know, they've kind of figured out what their pass rush line is right now, you know, with Gardeck and Ojulari right now and Victor. Like, I think they've got their four that and Xavier Collins. So I think they've got their four guys that, you know, when it's pass rush situation, we're going to put these four guys out there. And, you know, what you hope, like, all these great defenses are built around their front right now. And, you know, they're you know, Victor is a big part of this right now. And Zaven's had some moments, and Gardeck seems to, you know, always show up. And so, look, they've got, I want to say they got 25 sacks in 10 games right now. That's probably a lot better along than they were at any point last year. So I feel like they're getting there. And Ojulari is going to be a part of that. And look, in the second half, you know, I saw a bunch of 3-and-outs, you know, punts, you know, all that kind of stuff. It looked different in the second half of the game last Sunday.
This franchise, for the better part of my entire lifetime, has been immune to having productive tight end play. Was last Sunday the jumping off point? Because what I watched, Baldy, and I'm one to overreact at times. I saw a young man in Trey McBride that resembled the physicality of like a George Kittle, of a Hawkinson in Minnesota. Like, that's the kind of football on display from a tight end I've never seen in Arizona, like circuit Jackie Smith highlights from my youth. Like, that's what it looked like. There's a difference between scheming somebody open, and I thought Drew Petzing did a nice job with him, but Trey McBride breaking tackles at will, snatching the football in the air. Like, what's your take on the second-year man? Because we've been waiting for that for seemingly forever here.
Well, I believe that the best tight end you ever had, the Cowboys swooped him up and he became
correct. Yes, and he's not in the Ring of Honor, by the way.
Yes. The Cowboys were and Troy Aikman was very happy to receive him. But I agree. I know Zach pretty good, Ertz, and he's never been a big after the catch guy. Just Stanford, Philadelphia, Arizona. Like, he'll catch a lot of balls, but he's not really great after the catch. Like, I saw that from McBride last week, where you can like, that's what you're seeing from Sam Laporta. I feel like if you're going to be a good offense, you have to have a good tight end, a guy that can flex out, a guy that's going to break tackles, a guy that can run routes like the 7 cuts that he ran last week, or the deep shot, you know, to go win the game. Like, you need that guy down the middle of the field. You need that target. You need those yards after the catch. You need that. And we saw that from Trey in that game. Kyler fed him repeatedly. He was his go-to guy. You just hope that's just the beginning.
Yeah.
Get you out on this. I do want to tell our audience, of course, the All NFL podcast is live wherever you find podcasts. Of course, on YouTube, a huge guest, of course, 2-time Super Bowl champion Andy Reid joins the fellas. Can't wait to see that. Also, already had some great guests that you got to check out before that, like Lane Johnson and crew. So check that out wherever you find podcasts. But Baldy, the Cardinals are going to face one of the hottest quarterbacks all season long, 826 yards over his last 2 games, C.J. Stroud, here in Week 11. How can the Cardinals defense slow down this rookie signal caller here and help themselves out with their first-round pick against the Texans?
Well, I'm wondering, like, how, because he doesn't look like he's easily fooled. And I call him a pup because he's just poised under pressure. I think he leads the league in passing yards right now, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, he's been unbelievable. I mean, every throw. And last week he played without his number one wide receiver, Nico Collins. Doesn't matter. Noah Brown goes out there. Like he's got his guys, and he loves his rookie, Tank Dell, loves him. So it's a little bit like what Christian Kirk was when he was here, even though they didn't use him right. But he's got elite quickness and like just unbelievable separation speed. But I think what you have to try to do with him is you have to try to confuse him. You have to give him pre-snap looks. You can't give him clean, clear pictures to look at. He's just too good at going through his progressions and getting to the open receiver. So I haven't seen him easily fooled. He did throw one interception last week, but I think he's thrown 2 all year. So he doesn't get fooled up much. So I think you got to really disguise pre-snap what he's looking at and hopefully wait till the ball snapped to show him what coverage you're in.
Best segment of the week here on PHNX Cardinals, Baldy's Breakdowns, Brian Baldinger, All City, NFL analyst. Thank you so much, Baldy. We look forward to it.
Pleasure, guys. Thanks, Johnny. Thanks, Bo. We'll talk to you next week.